fight over mail-in ballots. We're digging into the footnotes, the government documents to find out what's going on. Democrats like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, they are now demanding people that they want them to vote by mail due to fears over COVID-19 at the ballot box. California moving towards it. We know Washington State, Oregon, and Colorado do it. Election watchdogs warn that mail-in voting has long been riddled with inaccuracies and fraud. And the answer is yes. There is fraud in mail-in balloting. The Government Accountability Institute warns the Democrats' plan would send ballots to 24 million voters with dubious and flawed voter registrations. The Public Interest Legal Foundation found that since 2012 election, more than 28 million mail-in ballots somehow went missing. With me now, former California Republican Party chair. He is Tom Beccaro. Tom, the other problem, too, with the Democrats' push for this, and they won't admit it, they refuse to do audits of votes because it's expensive to do so. It's really expensive to do this. And they basically, the argument is Democrats want these votes from fake mail-in ballots, as critics have warned, and they don't want the audits to catch it. That's what we have found in government studies, that numerous studies we've been reading. Your take on this?
Absolutely. Way back, Jimmy Carter, 2005, said mail-in ballots were the biggest potential for fraud. So there's two aspects of this. There is the 24 million that they'll be mailed. In California, there is up to 500,000, they think, of dead people who will get these ballots. And then what happens? And here's part two. If California has 16 million votes, that means they have to look at the signatures for 16 million people and measure that against the original registration. They don't have the personnel to do that. They'll be under a time crunch. California always waits till the 38th day to verify it. If they don't have the resources to do that, you know what happens, Liz? They just throw them through and they don't check them. And that's where the voter fraud will occur because no one will stop them. And then when the Republican says, oh, you should check it, the Democrats will say, too late, we've declared a winner.
Yeah. You know, the White House opposes this. Earlier this month, a family in Atlanta got a mail-in voter application for the family cat. The family cat had died 12 years ago. Okay, here's what else is going on. The Biden campaign reportedly recruiting an army of hundreds of attorneys to prepare for legal fights, including to push for mail-in voting. The Heritage Foundation, they have an election fraud database. It dates back to the 1980s. Nearly 1,300 proven criminal cases of voter fraud in numerous states, including swing states. We're talking Pennsylvania, you're talking Michigan, and more. So in Florida, 2013, the chief of the staff to Democrat Representative Joe Garcia sentenced to 3 months in prison. Why? Orchestrating a massive plot involving the submission of hundreds of fake absentee ballot requests. They want to paper the country with these ballot registrations and don't want the watchdogs to catch it. Go ahead.
And it doesn't take much to make a huge difference. Remember, the 60th seat in the Senate for the Democrats that broke the filibuster, Al Franken won by 300 votes, and some of that had to do with fraudulent voting. So the margin doesn't need to be in the millions, and they will blanket it where it's needed. As someone who personally watched I have a long history in California. I watched a van go up to a polling station, people get out, look at the list, see who didn't vote, and go in and vote because California has no ID. So this is real. To those who say it isn't, they're lying, and they're not going to get DAs in California to prosecute those people because it's Democrat DAs prosecuting Democrats. You can't get ahead with that. So the real danger is that they will do this mass mailing. They don't have the resources to check on it, and then the election will just be pushed through. And this matters in Michigan. This matters in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, where this election is going to be decided. But the Democrats are just going to claim unfair. But the Republicans need to have voter integrity projects, or they could lose the Senate again, or important votes when this is stolen.
You know, Attorney General William Barr talked to Maria Bartiromo about massive voting fraud with mail-in voting. Listen to what he had to say about it. Watch this.
There's questions about whether or not it even denies a secret ballot, because a lot of the states have you signing the outside of the envelope. So the person who opens the envelope will know how people voted. There's no, right now, a foreign country could print up tens of thousands of counterfeit ballots and be very hard for us to detect which was the right and which was the wrong ballot. So I think it can upset and undercut the confidence in the integrity of our elections.
And that's the thing, Tom. It's about the integrity of who's doing the mailing and who is doing the tabulating at the back end, that they will have the honesty and integrity to tabulate the vote correctly. Take that on, Tom. Final word.
Well, the reality is there's only a couple of months to implement this, and that's not enough time. California had a pilot project, and it took them two years to set this up. Rushing this means that there are these potential problems, and so this election will probably be tainted regardless. The question is, going forward, do we have the time and resources? And right now, I'm unimpressed by the efforts by the Democrats to push this through.
Tom Beccaro, thanks for joining us.